It is a new year, you are building your vision board, and there are 10 things you want to avoid doing in order to build an effective vision board. And the reason why you can trust me on this is because number one, I have been building vision boards for a long time. I've been able to create mind-blowing results in my life and in my business, and I have been able to travel, get my dream car, move out into my own apartment, and basically manifest the business of my dreams by building vision boards and understanding the science to how they work. And look, I love all the woo-woo and the magic of the work, the stuff that cannot be explained. However, I also love the science and everything to do with the brain. And this is why I teach vision boards in a very practical and understandable way so that I can help those of you out who are curious about strategies to elevate your life and actually create results you want faster. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Nicole, a life and business coach for high functioning women. I'm a self-proclaimed foodie, content creator, educator, and your new abundance bestie. In my world, we talk about all things to do with elevating your life. I post weekly videos helping the everyday woman embody her highest self, create inner wealth, master her mindset, unlock her femininity, and be an absolute boss in life. I create resources, trainings, and host experiences online and in person in order to help you reconnect to your true self. Not the one you think you need to be, but the you that you were born to be. So you can reclaim your power and amplify your voice to lead, love, and create as a woman. If you like my vibe and you want a little bit more abundance in your life, hit subscribe to be notified whenever I drop a new episode. And be sure to check out the free resources in the description below. Hey, I'm Nicole and welcome back to my channel. On this channel, I help you elevate your life and I give you all the tools you need to become your best self now and not later. In this visioneering series, I've been teaching you all how to build an effective vision board, and I've been talking about the science, the steps, the things to do and not to do. And in this video, to wrap up this series, I'm going to be sharing with you the 10 most common mistakes that I see people making when building a vision board. I run workshops online and in person, helping everyday people understand vision boards and how they work, as well as how to use them in their everyday life to create a life they love. If you have been following along in this series and you have built a vision board, join my Discord community and share your vision board with me. I would absolutely love to see what you have pinned on your vision board and also keep you accountable on how you've been going all year. Inside the Discord community, I also have a bunch of free resources, exclusive content, private podcast, and monthly free live coaching. So for those of you who are loving this visioneering series, come through to the Discord and it's like a private party with me. The problem I see is that when people make vision boards, they are doing a lot of things wrong. Mistake number one is putting generic images on your board. Before printers were a thing or before they were accessible, people used to make vision boards. That sounds really ancient. I mean, before vision boards were really the trend, more often than not, people were actually cutting images out of magazines and putting them on their vision boards. This is something that people still do. However, they do it with Pinterest photos, things they found on TikTok, Instagram, whatever. Now, the reason why this process isn't as effective as coming up with your own images, doing your own photoshopping, or even just, and the reason why you can trust me on this is because number one, I have been building vision boards for a long time. I've been able to create mind-blowing results in my life and in my business, and I have been able to travel, get my dream car, move out into my own apartment, and basically manifest the business of my dreams by building vision boards and understanding the science to how they work. And look, I love all the woo-woo and the magic of the work, the stuff that cannot be explained. However, I also love the science and everything to do with the brain. And this is why I teach vision boards in a very practical and understandable way so that I can help those of you out who are curious about strategies to elevate your life and actually create results you want faster. Researching the exact images that you want is that it's not as personal. And if there's anything about a vision board and how to make it work that you need to know, it's that it needs to be highly personal. Not just what's on the board and what you're seeing, but also what you are feeling when you are creating the board. So when you are sourcing your images, what I teach in my workshops is to make sure that you are specifically choosing images that emotionally connect to you. If you want to be able to travel to Italy in the coming year, then don't just choose a generic image of Italy. Sift out the exact image, the exact view that you want to see with your own eyes, and put that image on your board. Perhaps you saw somebody post an image on their stories when they were in Italy. So you could find that exact story and screenshot it. For you, seeing that would actually channel that emotional response of believing that if you're putting images that sort of popped up for you on the magazine or on your Google or on your, it's not as intentional. So you're letting your mind pick from this selection of what is in front of you rather than sitting there and visualizing and actually asking yourself, what do I desire? What is the exact image that captures the exact view that I'm going to have when I'm at that country? That takes a lot more work and intention, but it is far more effective for triggering that emotional response and that neurological connection that it is available for you. If you want more in-depth science and more of a breakdown of exactly how vision boards work, which will be very helpful for the rest of this video, pause this one and check out the other video that I released about how to build a vision board that works in 2024, where I break it down all for you there. So mistake number 2, putting things on your board that you don't actually desire. Now this might sound like a no-brainer, like
why the heck would I put things on my vision board that are not really my desires?
But it's not as obvious as it seems. The more workshops I run, the more I see certain images on people's boards, like $1 million, a massive house with a pool, flights and travel, which are all great things. But I think because we live in the Western society, a lot of us are primed to value and want these things. And it's not that they're bad, because they're on my vision board too, but it's why you want to have these things. A lot of people say they want to make multiple 6 figures or to make $1 million. Putting that on your board is not as effective as asking yourself, why do I want to make $1 million? How would I feel? What would I be doing with that $1 million? What would it mean for me and my relationships? What would that $1 million do for my family? How would my lifestyle look like? Would I be moving houses, or would that money be going to a charity? Would it be going to investments? What investments? The why is really what's going to solidify and make it personal for you. Putting down a generic goal that everybody else around you has is only going to create more of a disconnect with you and your board than actually getting to the specifics. What I personally like to do is, after I build my vision board, to actually journal about every single item on that board. If you don't like journaling, what you can do is do what I also do at my workshops at the very end, is to do a sharing circle, which is where you actually articulate why you have placed each image on the board, and everybody who's listening to you gets to ask you questions to help you explain the why behind your board. Because it's when you are connected to the whys behind the images, then that's when you unlock that level of belief and you allow yourself to step into the realm where your vision board actually penetrates your current belief system. This is usually the part of my workshops where people get really emotional, because they realize that the things they put on their board are actually deeper windows into what they desire. So the $1 million is great. However, the $1 million is actually significant for spending more time with your family, because maybe when you were growing up, you never had a chance to spend lots of time with your family. Perhaps your parents were always working and you never got a chance to spend time with them, and you don't want to do that for your children, and that's why you want to make more money. Whether you're having your friends ask you about your why regularly, to also catch ourselves when the images that we place on there are really just on there because as a society we are programmed to want them. It's helpful to think about exactly why you want them, because you're going to have a very different reason to the person next to you, and you want to make sure that you're not just putting things on your board because it's the American dream, or in my case, the Australian dream. Mistake number 3 is not personalizing your vision board and the images you put on it so that it is believable to you. One of the easiest ways to do this is actually finding images of people that look like you. So if I have black hair and I am quite a short Asian woman, then I'm not going to be pinning tall blonde girls on my vision board, even if in the image it captures what I want. Instead, I want to either be photoshopping myself, my face, onto that image, or getting an image of someone who looks somewhat like me, because that is going to allow my brain to register it as something that is possible for me, rather than looking at it and going, that is not me, that is somebody else, and just observing it from afar. You want your vision board to really feel believable and to see yourself in the images. A vision board is just an extension of what your mind is already capable of doing, which is imagining. And in your imagination, when you're imagining yourself at that beachside, beachfront, whatever location on your vacation, you're not imagining some blonde chick. If you're an Asian chick like me, you're literally imagining yourself, your body, your eyes, your hair, like you know? So make sure that your vision board is highly personalized and not generic. Mistake number 4, your images are not specific enough. In this series, I talk about the importance of using detailed descriptions to create the dream picture. So if you want to drive a specific car, for example, and you pin that car on your board, make sure that you are also clear using your 5 senses. Asking yourself questions like, what would I be seeing from the passenger seat? What would I be touching? Would it be leather? What would I be smelling? Would it be the smell of fresh leather? What would I be hearing in my brand new car? Would it be like a roaring engine, right? So use your 5 senses to help you describe it, and then meditate or visually rehearse in your imagination while you're building the board, and every time you see the board, that exact storyline, so that this image actually becomes like a lived reality in your imagination. And that's what accelerates that process for you, because when it's in your imagination and you imagine it often enough, you're visually rehearsing it and programming it into your subconscious. Soon enough, your subconscious is going to start helping you look out for those circumstances, those experiences, and you're going to see more of that experience. You're going to experience more of that, and eventually you're going to manifest it sooner. Same thing with travel goals. A lot of people are pinning like airplane flight windows on their vision boards, but girl, where does that airplane flight window look out to? Is it a beach? Is it a city view? Is it a nighttime view? Is it a daytime view? Be specific about location that you want. What class airfare? If you have a passport or plane tickets on your vision board, what exactly does that plane ticket say? Photoshop your damn name on it. Photoshop the destination, the time, the airline, the seat. Like, get specific, even if you have to Photoshop the images together. Mistake number 5 is your vision board images and your vision board itself is way too small. Part of what allows you to integrate your vision board into your everyday life and have consistent exposure to it is its scale. So if you're building a vision board that is extremely small for the scale of your bedroom where you're gonna hang it up, or the wall in your living room, then build it bigger. I don't care if you need to use 2 cartridges of printer ink in order to create this vision board, but do it, because it is one of the most effective ways to reprogram your mind. Even if you never did anything other than just put it on the wall in a place that you would walk past regularly, but the scale is quite big, you're gonna find that that ingrains itself into your mind. I grew up with Bible verses sitting in the back of my toilet door. My mother would put printouts of cheesy Bible verse quotes behind our toilet doors, and I would be staring at that my whole childhood every time I went to the bathroom. You know what? When I'm going through a hard time, those Bible verses just come right back in because they're programmed into my subconscious mind. The fact that I was in my bathroom and the door was just right here meant that I was looking at it, absorbing it. So the scale really matters. You need to scale those images up so they're more visible, more accessible to your mind to perceive. If you have been enjoying this video so far, make sure you check out the actual virtual vision board workshop, or if you are based in Sydney, check out my workshops that I run. All of the details are on my website, nicoleconcepcion.co/events. I also have a coupon code just for you guys watching this video on YouTube. Okay, let's wrap up with the last 5 mistakes that you are making when building your vision board. Mistake number 6 is you have way too many words on your vision board. Words are powerful and I use them myself on my vision boards. However, if you have full-length sentences and there are more than 2 to 3, that is way too many. Your brain wants cues. It just needs visual triggers. It doesn't need to go to work when looking at your vision board. You just want it to passively accept that image. However, you can use affirmations to help you integrate your vision board, which is more to do with how you mentally rehearse it or visualize it in your reflection time, your meditation time, or your journaling time. I talk about this process in my video where I actually break down how to build your vision board in 2024 so that it works, and you can check that out here. Okay, mistake number 7 is similar to the previous one. There is a visual clutter on your board. I personally recommend building it in more of a grid-like structure, or in a way that it's sectioned off into the different categories of your life so you can focus in on certain ones on certain days or on certain meditations. Anything that is too visually cluttered in that your images might be too small and there's too many of them and they're all kind of just piled on, that also makes it really hard for you to absorb this vision board. I like to think of it as like a barometer. Make sure that your images are at the highly emotionally evoking part of the barometer up here, rather than like they don't really trigger something, they just look nice. I've heard people teach that you need filler images, things that are sort of not so deeply connected, still somewhat relevant. This is something that you can play with. I personally like to make my entire vision board very meaningful. Every image on my board evokes an emotion for me and allows me to kind of see and feel that this whole board is personal to me. Mistake number 8, making your vision board without actually taking the time to understand the science behind it. Understanding the science is what's going to help you actually bring in what you want faster. Now, I understand not everybody has the time, and that is why I have literally done this series, so I can break it down for you effectively and efficiently. But if you are someone who literally just builds a board and puts it somewhere expecting the goals to come true, you just build a poster and you just hit it in the corner. It's not gonna work for you. You need to actually understand that the vision board is a tool that you can work with and activate to create the results in your life. Just like any other tool, it's not gonna fix anything for you unless you actually pick it up and use it, and you have to use it right. So that's where understanding the science is actually super helpful. The basics of the science is that it is a tool that actually speaks the language of your subconscious mind, which is pictures and images, and connects to the emotional part of which activates the rewiring process of your mind. And in that process, your brain starts to help you to create and seek out a new reality rather than seeking out to preserve your existing reality, which consists of all the thoughts, beliefs, emotions that you are used to feeling. So you're shifting your focus from what you're used to feeling and training your brain to focus on what you want to feel, and using that data as a map or program for the life that you want to create. And because your brain is a survival tool, it will believe what you tell it, and its goal is to help you recreate the familiar and the known. And if your familiar reality is everything that's the opposite of your vision board, if you don't do the work to reprogram it, then it's just going to continue to keep you there, whether or not you like it, because it wants to keep you safe and in survival. It wants to keep you in the familiar known. I talk about more on that and the specifics in an interview that I did with a neurolinguistic programming expert and the science about it, so you can check that out and geek out with us about all things to do with vision boards. If you really want to learn this and master the vision board, it will change your life. You can check that out in the description below as well. Okay, we're almost there. Number 9, not updating your vision board frequently. You want to frequently update your board based on how your desires are shifting. Something like a 6-month update is really healthy for you, because sometimes the things we pin on our board is not exactly what we actually want. Maybe at the time it was influenced by the people around us or the environment that we created the board in. After traveling or having a very important life-changing experience, I often like to look at my vision board and ask myself whether the things I want on here actually align. And this is why I personally also recommend to build your vision board for 6 months of a timeline rather than 6 years ahead, because you can always update your vision board rather than making a vision board that's like way too generic and way too broad. And make it an intentional practice. Set a date with yourself just like you would with a friend. Get yourself some wine, light some candles, make a whole experience out of it, because it really is a sacred practice. I like to think about the vision board as a contract that I'm making with myself, for myself. And it's basically a declaration to the universe, to myself, that I believe in what I desire and that I am worthy of them. So I often like to build my vision board and then actually sit there, integrate it with some meditation, reflect on the why, share it with a friend, and then celebrate the feeling of already having these things. I would literally go on a Delulu spree and pretend like all these things were my life. Now, the feeling doesn't last for very long. It might last for a day, a week, maybe a month, but it's the practice of living as if these were my reality that allows me to actually integrate and come back to that excited feeling of possibility, rather than feeling really overwhelmed because I'm discouraged that they're not possible. Remember that vision boards are truly effective when you release the how. The how is not up to you. The how will work itself out. What you need to focus on is managing your thoughts, your beliefs, and your emotion. And anytime your thoughts, beliefs, or emotions are not aligning to the version of you who already has the things on this vision board, then you are operating out of your old era energy, your old self, your old programs, rather than adopting the new ones that are going to help you create this life faster. The 10th and final mistake that I see is just building the vision board and not setting aside time to visually rehearse what's on it. Visual rehearsal is something that every successful athlete, entrepreneur, skilled musician, anyone who is great at what they do has done. And we do this all the time. We know exactly how to use it. I hinted at this earlier when I said that imagination is something we all have access to. You may think that I don't know how to build a vision board that works, but in reality, you do. You do it all the time. You literally mentally rehearse scenarios and they become reality. The fact that you drank coffee from that exact coffee cup was because mentally you rehearsed yourself doing it, or perhaps you had habitually done it before and that became your program. But if you started mentally rehearsing something else, imagining something else, you might find that you take a different set of actions, you start to believe a different set of beliefs and think and feel differently. This is how visioneering works, and this is as simple as it gets, you guys. When you're building a vision board, remember that it's a tool to assist you in directing your mind to what you want to focus on. The mistake that I see so many people doing is building a vision board, making a big deal out of it, and then just chucking it in a corner. It literally doesn't work that way. You have to pick it up. You have to set aside time to regularly meditate with your board, or to visualize it, reflect on the why behind it, and to feel the emotions that embody that vision board. So if you want tips on any of that and you have any other questions about building your vision board, please ask them in the comments below or drop me a DM on Instagram, where I actually love to do stories and engage with you guys on my channels about these kinds of things, because I really want to help you work with this powerful tool that has literally changed my life and lives of hundreds of people that watch my content. Now you know what to avoid doing and how to actually build a vision board that works this year. And if you are someone who wants the step-by-step of how to build a vision board that works and wants to be guided and supported in doing so, number one, you want to sign up for the virtual vision board workshop. Again, I have dropped a discount code for you to access the workshop for a discounted price for watching this video. And number two, I have a community called the I Am Her Collective. It's a Discord community where you can jump in, get coached monthly by me, and regularly receive new trainings, resources, private podcasts, and content that is exclusive to those of you who choose to take it the next step further to become the best version of yourself now and not later.
Want to take your abundance to another level? I want to help you. I'm a life and business coach for women who want to step into their next level by activating wealth from the inside out. To help you take your first step to unlocking true abundance and your aligned potential, I'm giving you free resources, workshops, and masterclasses that you can access on demand right now. Check out www.nicoleconception.co/free-resources to get your hands on it. For more videos like this, check out the other playlists and series I have on this channel, and don't forget to hit subscribe to be notified whenever I drop a new video. And if you're more of the podcast type, check out Freedom in Flow, where I dive even deeper into the concepts that will help you create less hustle and more flow, abundance, and alignment in your life and business. Now, if you're a reader, you'll want to subscribe to my email list for unfiltered, honest, and most importantly, applicable life upgrades. Now, don't be a stranger. Connect with me on Instagram and TikTok and send me a message. I love getting to know you and your story. It's why I do this. Okay, my lovely, that's all for now. I'll see you soon. Signing off, Nicole.